What's good? It's your boy Dizzy D Spill, and you are tuning in to the Notion Podcast, Outlawed Opinions. Man, I got something for y'all. I thought this was an interesting video. I just really wanted to see what the people thought about this. Relationships and relationship dynamics and relationship rules, and out of a rule book that's never really been written for all, have been a topic, and I don't think it's gonna go away. I mean, even when I was a kid, these same conversations were happening. It was just different. They were on talk shows and in magazines, and our mothers, would talk about it. Maybe sometimes the fellas would complain about mom or auntie or whatever the case it was around your dad and your uncles. But this is relationships have always been a conversation. I know people grow tired of it on social media, but I think it's because it's oversaturated. But I thought this interaction was interesting from celebrities on this take. So I'm gonna just jump right into it without wasting any time. So let's get into this.
Recently, the rapper Offset, he was on a podcast and he stated that he wouldn't get married again. What's your take on marriage? Because he's also encouraging others to probably never get married because people are just temporary. Do you agree, disagree, and why?
I disagree. I was married to an amazing woman. We have 3 beautiful kids, and it wasn't bad. It was good. There was a security in it. There's a covering that you get in a marriage with someone who has your heart and your best interest. And I think that unity is powerful in a spiritual way. And it's just picking. You have to choose a marriage based off of something that's really real, and choose a marriage that's based on love and a connection that fits you. But if it's just something that's just to be doing it, then you may not have the best results. So, not saying that's what they did, but for anyone, I think a marriage is.
Okay. So shout out to Anthony Hamilton. I like Anthony Hamilton. Small short story. One of my favorite aunties, Aunt Farron, rest in peace, actually went on tour with Anthony Hamilton and sung backup some years ago. I'll have some relatives confirm that one of these days. But anyways, shout out to Anthony Hamilton, because I noticed he used the word had, or I was married. So I'm gonna insinuate based off of his words that they're no longer together, and he still has the respect, for this woman and that experience to say, nah, that's not always true. We did this, and he tried to point out the positives, even within a scenario where I'm assuming they're not together, because he said he had or he was. Here's the thing, people, if there's any young people watching, I am married, okay? So I definitely can speak on this. Marriage is not always fun. You do not always get along. You do not always like each other. Sometimes you feel like you're taking advantage of each other. But all of those things you can feel in a family. You can feel with your friends. You can feel at a job. Those feelings just don't completely go away. You can feel all of those feelings I just said about some of the things that are true in marriage in any relationship. The thing about Offset and Cardi B is, first of all, they put their entire relationship on the damn internet. Okay. And then they decided to play a game of one up by who they're dealing with and who they're sleeping with and all of that stuff. Now, I get it. Offset cheated and he kept cheating and this, that, and the other. So for the women that are in the comments that have something to say to defend Cardi B, you have to remember she decided to do the dumb and keep going back. Okay. She's one of the people that's very common that goes back multiple times. It's very rare that a person cheats and they leave the first time they cheat, but it does happen. But, they try to give benefit of the doubt because they blame themselves and all of this other crap. But the point is Cardi B and Offset, like the celebrities they are, decided to put their business on the internet. Okay? It's no coming back once you're a household name or you're popular and your business is on the internet. And then the trolling and the new boyfriends and the new chicks and all of this other stuff. So the crazy thing is the most disrespectful things that they done to each other, from the way I see it, was part of the end of their relationship. That's how I see it, right? It was towards the end. So, his trauma or whatever he's feeling was either things that was self-inflicted or towards the end when you guys are just only together by law and paperwork, but you guys are physically done with each other. So don't listen to celebrities is my point. I'm not going to just keep rambling and keep going on about do not listen to celebrities because a lot of these people didn't know or believe that they were going to be in the position that they were in. So you might not want to give that person the position of giving you advice and ideas and guidance or any kind of influence. But Cardi B and Offset is not relationship goals. It is not the paradigm example for relationships. It's not anything but two people that are famous that got married and have kids together and don't know how to get along. That is the facts. So Anthony Hamilton is older, been around a little bit longer. It has some experiences. He had the right answer. It did spark questions for more celebrities to weigh in. So let's see what they have to say. And then I'll give my final synopsis on this stuff. So we got that one. All right, let's see. Let's see.
I've been married for 21 years, so I have no idea. It's been working out for me. Maybe I can't even say get to know somebody before you marry them. Me and my wife got married 8 months into our relationship, so I have no room to talk, and I also don't really weigh in on other people's marriages because mine is fine. Whatever works, you know what I mean? Every situation is different. Every relationship is different. I have no idea. I have no idea how mine is still working, but it's going.
All right. I rock with T-Pain. He said some facts. You know, he kept it safe. I am liking the fact that it's men that experienced marriage that weigh in on it. I honestly don't know if I can agree. And you guys could tell me in the comments. I don't know if Cardi B and Offset really experienced the marriage. They experienced the title. They experienced, you know, whatever kind of tax benefits you get because you do get them, well, at least here in Cali. But the whole concept and experience, the for better and for worse, and the true ups and downs, it doesn't really seem like they truly experienced the marriage. They were just in the marriage by paper, by law. It's just you talk different. I know people that were together just as long as T-Pain or a little bit less, and you know they're no longer married to certain people, and they still don't have this energy and this anger towards each other, even though they may have had some rough endings or things like that. It's still like some form of respect. So you could tell that Cardi B and Offset are still dealing with their trauma in their relationship because taking it from somebody that was married by the way they explained it and somebody that currently is married, there's a sense of understanding, respect, and peace even while talking about the experience of being married. So yeah, you know, let's keep going though. Let's see more takes.
Whatever you do it all the way though. Don't be fake. Keep it real. Be honest. Be transparent. And you know, if that's what you're about, then get married. If it's not what you're about and you know yourself, you know that's not the type of person you are, then don't play with somebody. Don't waste nobody's time.
I feel like he stole my glasses. Anyways, I know I said, you know, and I've said plenty of times, don't listen to celebrities and stuff like that. And I do mean that. But it's okay to listen to things that make sense. It's okay to listen to things that's coming from what seems like it's coming from a place of pure honesty. And what I like about Dolla $ign's point is, these individuals that are talking about this and weighing in on this are people that seem like that's something that they take serious. The problem is a lot of people don't take marriage seriously. And these individuals, that people that take marriage seriously talk about it differently. Even if they've never been married before, they still talk about it differently because they take it serious and they have a respect for it. So look, pay attention to the patterns of these takes. I respect it. Dolla $ign. I do. Let's go.
Man, I fuck with Seth, you know what I'm saying? But my perspective is that the black community is falling behind financially because no group has ever ascended to collective wealth without strong families. And that's not to say that a family is beholden upon marriage, but the numbers are pretty clear, that as black people get married less and have less unified families, the wealth gap increases. So I think it's important above all to strive for unified black families.
And that is Vic Mensa, and he is definitely speaking facts. Those are facts. Everything that he said is facts. That's what I mean. Taking marriage seriously. See, I don't know if he's married. It doesn't sound like or seem like he is married, but do you see how he still found something within that conversation about marriage that this is why it's important without saying, look, this is why it's important to get married. He just gave you one of the important components of a marriage, and parts of a marriage is creating family. I didn't know that, and when I was getting ready to marry my wife, I didn't know until the Reverend told me, shout out to Pastor Scott, I didn't know that you were considered a family, just you and your wife. If you don't have any kids, you are considered family. We always look at family as, mom, dad, siblings, and maybe a grandparent or a cousin that lives with you guys. But no, even if it's just the two of you, you are still considered a family. And that hit different when he explained that to me and he told me that. So yes, family is very, very, very important. Matter of fact, I think it's virtually impossible for a marriage to make it sometimes without the support of family, the families that you're blending together and the families that you're coming from to create your own, I think can constrain a marriage. Yep, I believe that. But like I said, these are people that sound like they take marriage seriously, for real. And I respect that. And I appreciate that. That needs to be more. I like that conversation. It wasn't a conversation where it was anything weird or too much, and whatever the case it was. And so I really, really respect that. But you guys let me know what you think about Offset's comments. I'm gonna go ahead, and I think this might be the actual clip. Let's see.
Interested in this too. So you said you'd never get married again, you think?
No.
Why not?
It's not for me.
No? Why not?
I've done it, had 3 kids with it. It's like a mission that's been complete.
How old are you now? 33?
33, yeah.
I'm 31. So I'm like, I feel like I'd want to get married though one day.
You got to experience. You see, I experienced it, so I've already done it.
But you would never want to be like, again, married happily ever after, like this is my chick forever type shit? Never?
No. Everything's temporary.
So would you recommend marriage?
No.
Or would you tell me like, yo, don't get married?
Yeah, I'll tell you, don't get married.
Don't get married. For what reason?
I would say, unless you're cool with changing your life, entirely. You got a partner that's different. Especially when it's written and it's a real thing. Like, this partner's different.
Oh, yeah, that's what I think about too. Even getting a girlfriend, it's like, it's such a big commitment,
This is how
right?
we move like our career.
All right. Well, I mean, listening to what Offset said, it doesn't sound as terrible as how it was being presented, but it's still, it's still pretty negative and pretty toxic to say, yeah, I wouldn't encourage anybody to get married because of your personal experience. That's like him in basketball, right? If he wanted to go to the NBA, he ended up being Offset the rapper. Are you going to go tell kids, to don't try out for the NBA, don't work on their game because you didn't make it? That's just the example I give. We can't use our own personal experiences and say, don't do it because it happened to me. Now, I do know that we have a habit of doing that. If somebody's literally going down the same path you went, then that's different because you know that outcome and they're filling your footsteps. They're literally walking in your footsteps, doing the exact same thing. That's different. But the marriage experience, let me tell you, the reason why you don't listen to people about don't get married is because let me tell you how different experiences are in marriage. Not only are marriages are different experiences from different eras, from generations, they're also different experiences from different time periods you live in because our grandparents and our parents didn't have to worry about social media. This generation and forward will. The other reason why you can't go off of that is even race By race, it's different. White marriages are different than black marriages, and black marriages are different from Asian marriages and Indian marriages, and all these different marriages in different cultures. It's all different. So how can one person's experience explain how it's going to be so difficult and for anybody, no matter who it is? When even culturally, Americans have different perspectives and energy and experiences about marriage than the UK and Canada and definitely on the other side of the globe. Culturally, nationally, racially are all different experiences. And that's why you can't listen to that. Are there terrible marriages? Hell yes. Are there long-term, toxic, terrible marriages? Yes, but there's a lot of great ones. And the reason why you don't hear about them is because they're not as exciting. A good marriage is nowhere near as exciting as a toxic one where somebody steps out or they're not helping out with the kids or the wife did something wrong. So now the husband retaliates and then they broke up and then they got back together and then the side girl and the side baby and then they got back together. Those stories are exciting. Those are the movies that are being written and being promoted and perpetuated, which also has a damaging label and look on marriage and what people may think the experience of marriage is. I just said earlier, there are times you don't like each other. There are times you don't get along. There are times where you're like scratching your head. I don't like this person. I don't like you. You don't like me. Whatever the case is, you go through all of those different feelings. You know it all. You don't know enough. You know too much. Blah, 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 blah. That's just the hard parts of marriage. There are fun parts of marriage. Let me tell you something. Marriage can be very easy for people that have money and very difficult for people that don't have money. Boom, I just added something else to the list of how different marriages are. A poor marriage can be very, very hard to maintain than a rich marriage. But then at the same time, there could be two broke people that can outlast rich people because they don't put their value of their relationship and experiences on their possessions and money. It's so many different moving parts to this. It really is. So that's what I say. That's how I see it. That's my take on it. Y'all let me know what you guys think in the comments, okay? You've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast, Outlawed Opinions with your boy Dizzy D Spill. Until next time, peace.